Hi, I am Sanjana Sinha, the voice behind this channel. Before this video begins, I just wanted to give you a small heads up about what you're about to watch. This video is about going back to the wilderness. Sometimes we think we already passed God's test. Sometimes we believe we already learned everything we needed to learn. We think we already survived the wilderness, and now God will always feel close to us. But the truth is, until fake pride dies, the wilderness is not finished with you. This entire script was fully written by me. The video clips and images were generated using Midjourney AI and carefully shaped to match the atmosphere of the message. The voice you hear is a synthetic voice, but it has been heavily modified and gradually shaped inside FL Studio to create the tone and emotion of this channel. The background music was also created by me through Suno AI. And finally, I truly want to thank all of my Patreon members for helping keep this channel alive. Your support gives me the freedom to continue creating these videos. Thank you for being here.
Through the fire once before, thought I knew this desert road, but the sky went dark again, and heaven closed the door. Dust inside my tired lungs, cold wind on my skin. I hear my own thoughts louder now, as the night settles in. How long, oh Lord, will you hide your face from me? So I return to the wilderness, where the silence cuts the deepest. No voice, no sign, just shadows walking next to me. I return to the wilderness, where the old man comes to die, and even in the dark, I still lift my eyes.
I knew something was wrong the moment I stopped hearing him. Not an audible voice, not thunder from the sky, just that inner peace that used to stay with me through hard days. It disappeared, and when it disappeared, everything around me started feeling heavier. The mornings became harder to carry. The nights became too long. My thoughts became louder than my faith. At first, I thought I was just tired, maybe burned out, maybe I needed rest. But deep down, I knew this feeling. I had felt it before. The wilderness had returned. Years ago, I prayed for God to pull me out of darkness, and He did. Slowly, painfully, but He did. He removed people from my life, destroyed certain desires, closed doors I begged Him to open. And back then, I thought the breaking was the end of the process. I thought surviving the wilderness meant I had learned everything. But I was wrong. Because some lessons don't leave your life until they enter your bones, and mine were still living only in my mouth. Psalm 13:1. How long wilt thou forget me, O Lord, forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? That verse became real to me, not poetry, not scripture for Sunday morning. Real, because there is a kind of silence from God that makes a man look at the ceiling at night and wonder if heaven still remembers his name. I kept praying. Nothing changed. I kept asking for direction. Nothing moved. The more I tried to understand what God was doing, the quieter everything became. And silence can do strange things to a man, especially a man already carrying pressure. It can make him overthink, make him angry, make him feel abandoned. You begin remembering old mistakes, old failures, old shame, things you thought God already healed. But the wilderness has a way of digging buried things back out of you, not to destroy you, to show you what still lives inside. That's what happened to Israel. God removed them from Egypt, but Egypt was still living inside them. Exodus 16:3. Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, for ye have brought us forth into this wilderness. That verse always disturbed me, because these were people who had seen miracles. The sea opened for them, chains were broken, yet the moment pressure returned, they started romanticizing slavery. And suddenly I understood. A man can leave bondage physically while still carrying the mindset of a slave. That realization hit me hard because I started seeing it in myself. I had escaped certain sins, certain mindsets, certain habits, but under pressure, pieces of the old man still appeared, fear still appeared, doubt still appeared, pride still appeared. And maybe that's why God went silent again, because he saw something in me I kept ignoring. The wilderness is not always about punishment. Sometimes it is exposure. God lets the quiet happen so you can finally hear yourself clearly, without distractions, without applause, without comfort. And comfort can become dangerous. Comfort hides weakness. The wilderness reveals it. I started realizing that I still depended too much on outcomes. If things worked, my faith felt strong. If things failed, my spirit became unstable. That's not faith. That's emotional dependency. And God was trying to kill that inside me. Deuteronomy 8:2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart. To know what was in your heart. That line stayed in my mind for days, because most people don't actually know what's inside them until life squeezes them. Pressure reveals people. Silence reveals people. Loss reveals people. And God will allow all three if he truly wants to change a man. Not ruin him, change him. The second wilderness hurt more than the first one. Not because life was harder, but because I thought I was already mature. That's what pride does. It convinces you that surviving pain automatically means growth. It doesn't. Some people survive suffering and become wiser. Others survive suffering and stay exactly the same, just older. I started noticing patterns in myself. The same fear during uncertainty. The same frustration when prayers delayed. The same need to control outcomes. And slowly I realized something painful. I had changed behavior, but not nature. The wilderness was attacking deeper than habits. It was touching identity. Isaiah 48:10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Refining is violent. People talk about growth like it's beautiful. Sometimes it looks ugly. Sometimes growth feels like confusion, like isolation, like losing things you thought God gave you. I remember sitting alone one night asking God why he removed certain people from my life, and no answer came, just silence again. That silence made me angry. I won't lie about it. People try to sound holy when they tell these stories, but real wilderness seasons expose emotions you didn't know you carried. I felt frustration, loneliness, exhaustion, and worst of all, I felt forgotten. Psalm 13:2. How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? That verse sounds different when you actually live it, because there are seasons where your own thoughts become your battlefield. You smile in public, you function normally, but internally, you are carrying conversations nobody hears. You question yourself constantly. Did I fail God? Did I miss my purpose? Why does everything feel delayed? And the dangerous part is this. When God stays silent long enough, people start creating their own answers. That's how many lose direction. They become impatient. They force doors open. They return to old habits just to feel something again. Israel did the same thing. The wilderness exposed how impatient they really were. They wanted God's promises without God's process. And honestly, so did I. I wanted purpose, but I didn't fully want pruning. I wanted growth, but I resisted surrender. I wanted elevation, but I still carried hidden pride. So God brought me back where distractions die, back where ego gets stripped, back where no one claps for you. The wilderness is lonely because God is trying to separate your identity from people's approval. And that process hurts, especially for men, because many men build themselves around performance, success, recognition, respect. Then God removes all of it and asks one question: who are you now? That question shattered me, because without achievements, without movement, without visible progress, I didn't know who I was anymore. And maybe that's why God allowed the silence, to remove every false identity I built around myself. Somewhere inside the silence, I changed, not suddenly, not dramatically, slowly, quietly. I stopped asking God for quick escape and started asking Him to reveal what still needed to die inside me. That prayer changed everything, because now the wilderness stopped feeling like prison and started feeling like surgery, painful but necessary. Psalm 13:3. Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. I finally understood that verse. David wasn't asking only for rescue. He was asking for sight. Lighten mine eyes. Show me what I cannot see. And sometimes the hardest thing to see is yourself. The wilderness showed me my fear of uncertainty, my attachment to control, my hidden arrogance, my unstable emotions, things I preached against, but still carried quietly. That's the terrifying thing about God. He sees beyond the image people praise. He deals with the hidden man, and the hidden man was exactly who God wanted to confront inside me. The strange thing is, once I stopped fighting the process, peace slowly returned. Not answers, not immediate blessings, peace. Because peace does not always come from understanding. Sometimes it comes from surrender. Isaiah 26:3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. That verse became survival for me. Not motivation, survival. Because there were days my thoughts tried dragging me into darkness. But slowly I learned something. Faith is not always loud. Sometimes faith is simply refusing to quit while God is quiet. And that changes a man. A man who survives silence becomes different, less emotional, less dependent on constant reassurance, more grounded, more aware, more honest. That's what the wilderness gave me. Not perfection, awareness. And awareness is dangerous because once God opens your eyes, you cannot go back to pretending anymore. I started understanding why God sent me back. I wasn't ready before, not internally. My outer life changed faster than my spirit did, and God refused to let me build my future on an unstable foundation. So he slowed me down again, not because he hated me, because he cared too much to leave me unfinished. Philippians 1:6, he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. That verse hit differently in the wilderness because God finishes what he starts, even when the process feels brutal, even when it feels endless, even when heaven goes silent. And maybe you're there right now. Maybe God feels distant. Maybe life became quiet again. Maybe you thought you already survived this season. But listen carefully. Sometimes God sends you back because there is still a stronger man waiting to be built from your pain.